My name is Adam Andrzejewski, and I'm the CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com. And you know our mission. Simply said, it's every dime, online, in real time. And over the course of the last 2 weeks, we've been celebrating an achievement, a transparency achievement on behalf of the people all across America, and specifically in the state of California, because for the first time in history, we've posted the line-by-line spending in the Golden State. And it's been a lot of work, and we'll describe that effort again here today and take it a step further into the governor's campaign donor disclosures as juxtaposed against the state vendor spending checklist. So before I get into the details, I just want to introduce my co-host. Her name is Tamara Colbert. Hey, Tamara.
Good evening, Adam. This is so exciting. This is an historic achievement, which the comptroller, the judge in California, no one thought this could be done. Adam, just for our viewers, share with us how Open the Books auditors uncovered the California state checkbook.
So it's been a knockdown, drag-out fight over the course of the last decade. Two California comptrollers. We sued in California Superior Court. The comptroller went into court against us to keep the expenditures hidden. And the Attorney General in California backed her effort, represented her in court. We did something that the governor, the comptroller, the Attorney General, the Superior Court judge who ruled against us, the state bureaucrats backed with $1.1 billion of taxpayer money. They were supposed to create a transparency and accounting platform to post the checkbook. The lawmakers, everybody in California refused to do what we did. We had to file 442 sunshine requests on every single state agency. Those state agencies thankfully complied with transparency law, and we were able to post the California state checkbook. We put it together like a jigsaw puzzle.
So now, coming out of that, boy, we've got layers deep, Adam, of information that our auditors are continuing to look through those line by lines to figure out all the nuances there. One of those happens to be Governor Gavin Newsom's campaign and the vendors in California. Share with us what that's all about in today's discussion.
So you have two data sets, right? And this is the power of big data tools nowadays. And so our auditors took the state vendors. There's 201,000 of them just last year. We only have 1 year, fiscal year 2021, of California state spending. 201,000 vendors. They received 6.1 million transactions. They received dollars of $87 billion. So we took that and we matched it up to Governor Newsom's campaign donor disclosures. When you give political cash, you have to disclose your employer. So we took the companies donating directly, the people disclosing their employers, the PACs, the political action committees, oftentimes of those state vendors. So we put the companies, we matched it up with the state checkbook, and here's what we found. The governor solicited 1,000 state vendors for $10.6 million worth of campaign donations. And the state vendors received just last year a stunning $6.2 billion from state agencies.
So Adam, is a pay-for-play, this almost seems pay-for-play. Is this legal or not legal in California?
Well, there's no pay-to-play prohibition in the state of California, especially at the statewide office level. There are some prohibitions at the local level. Like, for instance, you can't give campaign cash if you're a construction company and if you've got business before a municipality for a couple of months. But those prohibitions don't even exist at, for instance, the level of governor in California. So it is the Wild West in the Golden State on political giving. And Governor Newsom's he's driving a bus through this entire system. I mean, it's pretty stunning that the top 30 companies, in order to make our list of the top 30 state vendors that gave him campaign donations, you had to give at least 5,000. And then, so you got the top recipients receiving up to $844 million in a year.
Who are some of these companies, Adam? Share with us a list because we're having some great conversations right now. Share with us who some of the recognizable characters are that contributed to Governor Newsom and received some California dollars.
Yeah, they're the biggest corporations in the state of California. Many of them have public-private partnerships. That's what it amounts to, quasi-marketplace monopolies in their industry. So you're talking utilities, you're talking the big banks, the top healthcare companies, you're talking the top law firms in the state, right? So for instance, when you talk banks, you're talking Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo. Those three companies put in about $200,000 into Governor Newsom's campaign fund. In 1 year, they received nearly $500 million worth of state business.
So, Adam, from a transparency perspective, this looks suspect. So, what's your philosophy? You've been talking to the media now for all day today, and you've got an interesting comment about the ethics component in all of this.
Yeah, it may be completely legal. You may be you may be a public utility in the state of California able to give the governor campaign cash. That doesn't mean it's ethical. And I think people across the entire political spectrum, I think the polling on this would be above 90%, that for the governor to solicit state vendors for campaign cash, that just seems unseemly. That just seems unethical on its face. And sure enough, before we published the story, we reached out to Governor Newsom because this is obviously part and parcel of his campaign fundraising strategy is to solicit state vendors. So much so that right now, 44 cents on every dollar, 44% of his cash on hand comes from state vendors. 10.6 million. He's got $24 million in his campaign fund as of August 1st. So this has been a strategy. We asked him to defend his strategy. And of course, we didn't hear back from the governor.
So what kind of reforms are needed, Adam? You mentioned that California at the highest level there of state government doesn't have these type of reforms as other states do, like Illinois.
Let's cover Illinois because Illinois, our governors, they're famous and they typically make license plates in the federal penitentiary.
Right.
So after Blagojevich, and everyone remembers him, he tried to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat, allegedly, and he was in the federal penitentiary in 2013 as the Democrat. We had the Republican in there as well, George Ryan, right? So Illinois has this historic culture of corruption. Well, finally, the public was so outraged about it that our legislature passed a pay-to-play law. And what it says is if you are a state contractor and if your contract is greater than $50,000, so it's a pretty small amount, you can't give campaign cash in any of the statewide races. California should adopt this. This would cure a large portion of the problem with Governor Newsom. All your big banks, even the audit firms in the state of California, are donating to Gavin Newsom, the governor. They're supposed to be a neutral, independent, adversarial third-party auditor, and they're kicking campaign cash. The entire system that Newsom is running is predicated on these large institutions. Take, for example, healthcare companies, right? 6 healthcare companies give them $700,000 of campaign donations, and in 1 year, they received $1.9 billion from state agencies. And it's legal. You got to stop that in California. And it's probably a 95% issue just to put some limits and prohibitions on this intersection of big government taxing more, spending more, regulating more, and therefore they have more control, and these companies wanting favor from the governor himself.
It's just an upside down world that we live in right now. And there's just a fabulous conversation going on. Adam, what can people do? What do you recommend people do right now that are watching this that live in the state of California?
So 2 things. One is in the comment section is a link that goes to our report, our study that hits the highlights of what we've found. Read it at Substack and share it. Everybody needs to fundamentally understand what the playbook is here. Number two, there's a tremendous tribute to our organization at openthebooks.com on the historic achievement of breaking open the line-by-line state expenditures in California. It was written by Mark Tapscott. It's up at PJ Media. We've got a link to that in the comments. Please read that. You're a longtime friend of openthebooks.com, or you wouldn't even be on this Facebook Live. So this goes through the history of our battle, not only in California, but across the country. The writer, Tapscott, he did a great piece on this. And he's a subject matter expert on transparency. He's actually in the National Transparency Hall of Fame. So read those two things. Please share them. Thank you for being a good friend to our organization at openthebooks.com. There are a lot of battles left to fight, and you guys steel our spine for the difficult road ahead.
We'll see you next week. Go to openthebooks.com. Sign up so that you get all of these breaking investigations as they break before we even send them out to the general public. We appreciate you joining us tonight, and we'll see you next Thursday for another Rip Off of the Week segment.